Brad Pitt. He's a bit of an icon these days, isn't he? Okay, so maybe that's an understatement. But let's see how he got famous eventually. And please excuse me, but I can't resist this. The first role of Brad Pitt is Boy at the Beach. No, really. You can spot him as an extra in the 1987 film Hunk, briefly. And if you keep your eye on the background, he shows up again in Norway 8 with Kevin Costner. And then again as a waiter in No Man's Land. And if you don't blink, less than zero. $38 he got for that one. Nothing glamorous, nothing memorable. It's hard to believe now, but when he first started, Brad Pitt was just in the background. But you've got to start somewhere, right? Around the same time as randomly popping up in the background, you might have also spotted him on TV. In soap operas like Another World and Dallas. And other TV shows like 21 Jump Street. Speaking parts as well, not just part of the background. In 1988, his first proper credited role in a film came in as Stoning in Fulham County. Well, it's a made-for-TV movie, but still a film. Brad plays a local teenager caught up in a group that throws rocks at an Amish family's buggy one night for, well, fun I guess. It had turned out to be a pretty reckless and unfortunate act that ends in tragedy when one of the rocks hits a small baby. The film revolves around the fact that the family are strictly religious. They believe that the only vengeance on the events belongs to the Lord and refuse to allow the teens to be prosecuted. It's based on real life events, and although things have been fictionalised, the core of the story is true. It's fair to say that it was a quiet start, but if you pay attention it would be an early hint at what it could do when given the space. Now, not to be that person, but technically the next film we'll do would be The Dark Side of the Sun. I say technically because it was filmed in 1988, but it wouldn't be released until much later when Brad was famous. Weird that. In Dark Side of the Sun, he plays a young man suffering from a rare skin disorder. He's basically allergic to the sun. He sets off on a journey and travels to the coast in search of hope, love, and some kind of escape from it all. The production's odd, the pacing's off, and that's probably down to the makers of the movie running out of money, and it ended up on a shelf somewhere for nearly 10 years, until somebody realised they had a Brad Pitt movie stashed away, obviously. But Brad Pitt though, surprisingly good. He carries the film more than the film carries him, which tells you everything about the kind of actor he was even back then. After that, he'd bounce around on the TV in both shows and other made-for-TV movies. Freddy's Nightmares, Cutting Class, 30-something, those kind of shows. They weren't roles that had changed the world, but they kept him in front of the camera, kept him learning, kept him hungry. Eventually, he'd get a role that changed everything. A role in an advert for Levi jeans. Now, you might think I'm joking, but because of that advert, Brad will land a part in Thelma Louise. He wasn't the star, he wasn't even in that many scenes, but that smirk, that charm, that six-pack, and yeah, that scene, it left a mark. Everybody would remember JD, and Hollywood took notes. After that attention, the industry wasn't really sure what to do with Brad Pitt, and so, in order to do something, they tried to turn him into a leading man, fast. Maybe too fast. He'd be thrust into the lead of Johnny Suede, which was meant to be a quirky indie hit and an easy win. Brad plays a rockabilly wannabe with tall hair, a soft heart and an interesting fashion sense. It has its moments and some people even love it, but the film didn't land, not with audiences and not with critics. And then would come Cool World, a chaotic live-action animation hybrid that wanted to be the next Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But, spoiler alert, it wasn't. Brad plays a cartoonist caught between two worlds, but the story's a mess and the tone's all over the place. It's a strange film and not in a good way. But through both, you can see Brad testing things, trying to find a place for himself in a Hollywood world that thought he was just another pretty boy. And so, he takes on his next role in a film that probably nobody would see coming. A grimy and violent road movie. In California, he plays a dangerous, unpredictable drifter, Early Grace. It's probably the most un-Brad Pitt role he could find. It's raw, it's uncomfortable, and he goes all in. He takes a left turn, dodging his stereotype. It's the first time he really disappears into a role, although to be fair, it's also the first time he was really given the chance to. Then he slipped into True Romance. It's a cameo role, but unforgettable. He plays Floyd, the stoner roommate, a side character. You can barely see him for the most part, but everybody remembers him.
You guys want to smoke a bowl, or...? Oh.
Then he truly stacks his deck. Interview with the Vampire, Legends of the Fall, Seven, 12 Monkeys, Sleepers. 12 Monkeys, which would of course been recognised with an Oscar nomination for his role as Traffic Goings. But add all that together and suddenly, there's no one like him. Gothic horror, romantic leads, serial killer thrillers, science fiction, he's doing it all. More to the point, he made each one of those roles his own, and feel more and more like the real version of him. But just when you thought he might settle, play it safe, and let's face it, a lot of other actors might have, he throws another curveball: Fight Club, Tyler Durden. An anarchist, a cult leader, a walking contradiction. Brad Pitt walked into that role like he was born for it, and in doing that he blew up whatever expectations anyone had left of him. Then, before anyone could get a grip on him, he asked us a question.
Do you like that?
Snatch, another left turn, straight into British crime comedy. He plays Mickey, the bare-knuckle boxing Irish gypsy with an accent no one can understand, and fists like sledgehammers. He's brilliant. No ego, no vanity, just total commitment to his character. Dirty, wild, hilarious. And that's really the secret. Brad Pitt didn't become Brad Pitt by just being Brad Pitt, he became Brad Pitt by never being Brad Pitt. There's only really the Ocean trilogy of films in his catalogue that we ever see him revisit a character, and to be fair, those are ensemble films. Everyone's in them. Other than that, yeah, he's never looked back. It wasn't all perfect. The late 90s and early 2000s would see him stumble a little. The Devil's Own, 7 Years in Tibet, Meet Job Like, Troy. They weren't terrible by any means, but they won't do many favours either. And even in the quiet ones, you can see him keep trying things. He wasn't chasing comfort, just growth.
You're not how much money you have in the bank.
In 2001, he turned his hand to producing and helped set up Plan B Entertainment. And now he's at the point where he's produced almost as many films as he's acted in. Just to be clear, he doesn't just produce films he stars in. Plan B is back projects where he's nowhere near the main cast, like Moonlight, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, She Said, Minari. He's not just putting his name on prestige films, he's helping to get them made. Stories and films that might not have had a chance to be told otherwise. So no, it's not just a vanity label, it's a proper production company with real impact. That being said, he has been known to take both producer and actor credits in a couple of them, which is fair enough, especially when it helps get a film made. I mean, perks, right? It's not just films though, Plan B have TV shows under their umbrella as well. The OA, Three Body Problem, Adolescence. From background extra to award-winning actor to producer, he built a career by constantly surprising us, by refusing to be put in a box, and by never ever phoning it in. He's a leading man, a producer, an Oscar winner, easily one of the most recognisable faces and names in the world. And, I'll be honest, he's one of my favourite actors. Over the years he's starred in more than a few of my favourite films. Not many actors can shift gears like he's done, but Brad Pitt, well, he's made it look easy. That kind of control, that kind of range, it doesn't come out of nowhere. Before the magazine covers, the red carpets, and before Thelma Louise even, he was just a boy at the beach. And, as it turns out, that boy at the beach wasn't just building a career, he was building a legacy. Anyways, I've been Paul, and Brad Pitt was famous, eventually. Thanks for watching.